תזכו לשנים רבות, קהל קדוש, מועדים לשמחה. To everybody, today, the fourth day of Sukkot, corresponding to the 18th day of Tishrei, the 20th of October 2024. Today's class, graciously sponsored by Uri Jamal and family, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Kamel Ben Nusha, Alav Shalom. Additionally, by Tuvia Levi, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved mother, Katrina Caroline Bat Leah Beila, I believe, and Refuah Shelema for Menachem ben Belina among all of the Holim of Am Israel. So today, the 18th day of Tishrei, is the yortzeit of the great Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, Rabbi Nachman ben Faige. Today is the 18th day of Tishrei, and obviously Rabbi Nachman does not need my introduction. The grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, the great Tzaddik, Hasidic master that, till today is creating a revolution in the world through key elements of Avodat Hashem. And I'm not referring only to the Tikkun HaKlali, but to the concept of Simcha, living with happiness, living and counting the blessing, the power of gratitude. And Be'ezat Hashem, the Zechut of the Tzaddikim should bring great Yeshuot for all of Am Israel. The Gemara writes, Tzaddikim b'mitatam nikraim haim. Even the righteous, when they are physically gone on the world, the life remains alive, the Torah remains alive, the teaching remains alive. Like Hacham Ishak Yosef said the other day, that one of the way of the Tzaddikim live post-physical disappearance is through the teachings and guidance, and obviously no one can deny that maybe 2 centuries after he's gone from the world, still is creating a tremendous amount of it'arerut in the physical world. So Yiratzon, that the zechut of the great tzaddik be magem ba'adenu, amen. I spoke in the earlier minyan today discussing, and that was a question that popped up from that table earlier today, when the Torah establishes the celebration of Sukkot. Usually, we connect the holiday Zecher Yetziat Misraim as a reminder of the Exodus of Egypt, meaning to say that Misraim, the Exodus of Egypt, was like the founder of the entire set of the holidays, hence the connection Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot. Rosh Hashanah and Kippur are in a different league due to the fact that they are related to the concept of Adam Arishon, forgiveness, atonement, etc. But, and that was the question asked before, if Sukkot is connected to Yetziat Misraim, why don't we celebrate Sukkot with Pesach? Eat Pesach, eat matzah in the Sukkah. Many people will be happy. 2 for 1. You do 2 holidays on the same week. Many grocery stores may not be happy because you'll spend less. But the reality is, it will be much easier in so many ways. So there are many answers given to this question. One answer given was that the truth is that to eat matzah in the sukkah, especially since the Torah says, Hayom atem yoseim bechodesh ha'aviv, we came out of Egypt during the period of the spring, so to leave the comfort of a home, to go into the sukkah, the gazebo, which we need to be thankful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that this sukkah remain alive and well and kosher. Many sukkot I heard in my building by the second day was gone. What I was during the holiday, gone. Strong winds in the park, Tenveri Village, Marina Tower, many of the sukkot completely gone. Baruch Hashem, the sukkah of the Sibur, your sukkah also is gone? Okay, Refuah Shelema. Wow. No, in the holiday, no. Now you can. Sure. So Baruch Hashem, this sukkah is alive and well, and this is definitely the zechut of the Sibur. I heard that there were several hundreds here eating every meal of the Sukkah. So Baruch Hashem is good. So to leave the comfort of the Sukkah in the home into the gazebo, let's call it, during the spring season is not a big deal. But when a person lives into the Sukkah, especially somebody told me from Brooklyn they were using coats and sweaters to be in the Sukkah due to the cold temperatures. I wasn't there, but that's what somebody told me. So we really see the Mesirut Nefesh, the sacrifice that a Yehudi does in order to be Mekayem the Mitzvah from the Torah. But there is another reason why Sukkot is established immediately after Yom Kippur. There are many matters which were decided during the celebration of Kippur, especially by the hour of the Ne'ilah. A lot of things were decided. We don't know what, we don't know how, we don't know when. But among the decisions made in the day of Kippur is there is one category that we don't really speak much about it, but it's something that is relevant to everyday life, and is the concept of galut. Galut literally means exile, but there are different levels of galut. One is the collective galut of the Jewish people. We are in exile. We are in America, Baruch Hashem, Medina of Hesed, but at the bottom line, we are outside of Eretz Israel. And it doesn't matter what part of the world the Yehudi is living, but we know that our home is Eretz Israel. That's why when you arrive to Ben Gurion Airport, what does the sign says? Welcome home. Welcome home, meaning to say that a Yehudi knows, as the song says, Libi b'mizrach, ba'ani b'ma'arav. My heart is in the east and my body is in the west. Now, so galut literally means eviction, exile. Now, there are different ways that exile can be achieved. God forbid a person loses their home, God has shalom. A person is evicted from their home, from their apartment. That is a very severe type of exile. But it says in the Knaf Yosef and others that when a Yehudi uproots themselves to leave the comfort of the home into the Sukkah, that is tikkun of galut. And that is one of the spiritual reasons why the galut was activated right immediately after Kippur, because it's easier to pay down the bill in the beginning of the year than in the middle of the year. Meaning to say that if God forbid, later on in our year, there is a decision in Shamaim of Galut, the Malach will say, hold on a minute, this person already paid the bill. What do you mean pay the bill? Yeah, he left the home into the Sukkah. Ah, he left the home into the Sukkah? Hazaku Baruch. Let's remove that decree because he already paid the bill, Motza'e Kippur, into the celebration of Sukkot. On a personal level, I went through Galut this weekend. As many of you know, I was not here for the holiday. I was in the hospital with my father-in-law, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu give him refuah shelema, Menachem ben Belina, going through very challenging and unfortunate medical challenges, and Be'ezat Hashem, the zachut of the holiday brings him refuah shelema among the halim of Am Israel. And by halachic ruling, it was determined, go to the hospital, do what you need to do, and Be'ezat Hashem will have good news. And it wasn't easy. No minyan, no synagogue. The closest synagogue was an hour and 20 minutes walking each way. Then I calculate an hour and a half walking, going back, that's 3 hours. Then 2 hours prayers minimum. I'm going to be gone for 5 hours. So what if in the middle, God forbid, there is a medical crisis, a halachic decision must be rendered? What I'm going to do? Do I go? Do I stay? So I did my home soul searching, and I figure I'll achieve more by staying than going. Also, the weather wasn't helping. So no minyan, no sukkah. So then somebody asked me, how can you not eat in the sukkah? So I said, there is a halacha, it's a Mishnah that says, Holin umeshameshehem peturim min sukkah. If you work for Atzala, you are exempt of the sukkah. If you're there to take care of a sick person, that mitzvah precedes the mitzvah of the sukkah. So I ate whatever I was able to have. Baruch Hashem, I'm not complaining about the food. There was no minyan. I was the Hazan. I was the Baal Koreh. I got Mashlim. I got Maftir. I read the Aftara. I got even Aliyat Kohen, Levi, and Israel together. All of it Balash. Also, I got Jillian. I got everything. I pick up the Humash, the Mahzor, Bezot, the Torah. I did my Na'anu'im. I didn't even know what the East was. I said, okay, if I'm facing the ocean, the East must be right there to the south, east, north, west. So the Ben Ish Hai says that you don't worry about that. Let the Shamaims handle that. So I felt in my own skin this weekend what is the meaning of galut. Literally, not sleeping in your bed, not being with your family, not being with the kahal, not being able to eat in the sukkah till last night. And last night, when I went to eat in the sukkah, guess what? The sukkah in the shul collapsed. Talking about Fort Lauderdale. Collapse. Says, Rabbi, be happy that we have a quarter sukkah. It was 4 times the size. It took an hour and a half and 6 people after the holiday to have it ready. So Baruch Hashem, last night we were able to say L'Sheba Sukkah and the Ushpizin and everything else that comes into play. But many years into my life, I really understood what galut means. What galut means. What exile really means. And your neshama feels it. So, Baruch Hashem, we are thankful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that, among the challenging moments, He was able to provide somehow some type of a solution. Obviously, I don't want anyone to derive halachic rulings from my personal experience of the last few minutes, but just to create an awareness that the halacha, everything is written. It's just a matter of knowing what to do. And if you don't know, and that's what prompted me to stay there, I called one of the great hachamim in Brooklyn. I asked the question. I explained the situation. He says, you go and you do what you need to do. And that's it. And Baruch Hashem, I feel that my mission was accomplished. My father-in-law shook the lulav every day. He wasn't letting go of it. I want it. I want it. I want it. He said, there's no food because he's not able to eat. He's not able to drink. But Baruch Hashem, he listened to the Kiddush. He listened to the Havdalah. We did the most that we can based on the circumstances. And we hope that all these mitzvot, Be'ezat Hashem, till the scale for him and for us, and Be'ezat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu give him refuah shelema among the Holim of Am Israel. Amen. So we're going to switch the topic now and talk about the Arba'at Minim. The Arba'at Minim, the 4 species, we know the basic concepts representing different types of Yehudim, the one that has Torah and Mitzvot, the one that has Mitzvot and not Torah, the one that has Torah and no Mitzvot, and the one that regretfully doesn't have much. Simultaneously, I'm going very quick, as we're going to say on the day of Hoshana Rabbah, the Arba'at Minim represents 4 body parts. The Lulav, our spine, the Hadassim, the eyes, the Arabot, the lips, and the Etrog, the heart. Says the Talmud Yerushalmi that when we bless the Lulav and the Etrog in the Hallel, in the Oshanot, we do something called in Torah law, Na'anu'im. The waving, the shaking of the Lulav. Basically, from a halakha perspective, if I take, let's say, the Lulav and the Etrog, okay? And I just do this. Beracha, shake, put it down, you fulfill the mitzvah. No need to do the Na'anu'im. No need. So then, why our holy rabbis did establish the Na'anu'im? The Talmud Yerushalmi says, כדי לנענע כוחו של קטגור. It says, because when we shake the na'anu'im, at the end of the day, if you look at the lulav, is a very long weapon. The lulav is a weapon. That's what holy rabbis call the lulav. So we show our weapon that we are victorious against the Yetzer. And the movement and the waving surrounding us to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the top, to the bottom. That's what the Na'anu'im we do. We're creating, according to the Talmud Yerushalmi and others, a wall, an invisible wall of protection. That's the waving of the lulav represents. For that reason, it's the reason why when we shake the lulav in the Hallel part of the Hallel, what do we shake it? Anna Hashem Hoshi'anna. Anna Hashem Hoshi'anna. We only wave the lulav and the etrog when we are saying, Hashem, please save me. But when it comes to the part of the Hallel that says, Anna Hashem Aslihana, God make me successful, we don't wave the lulav. Why not? Because when it comes to success, I want the success to come to me directly. When it comes to protection, I want to keep the headache far away from me. That's the reason why we shake in Hoshi'anna of redemption, salvation, and we don't shake it in Asli Hana. Not only that, says the Maharsha in Gemara Sukkah, and it says, Le'a'atzor koach hatum'a misitra desmola desitna. Very deep Kabbalistic concept, but the Maharsha says, the mitzvah, and let's clarify, what is the mitzvah of the lulav and the etrog? To take them. Netilat lulav means what? Take them. Netilat here doesn't mean washing. It means take them. Take them, meaning, as I said before, I hold them in my hands for 1 second. I say the beracha, netilat lulav, hold it, lifted, done, see you tomorrow. So what is the na'anu'im? They are not the main mitzvah. The na'anu'im is considered a tolda of the mitzvah, like a secondary element of the mitzvah. So says the Yerushalmi and others that if this is the power of a secondary level of the mitzvah that can block off darkness and headaches and troubles and negativity, etc. So imagine the power of the mitzvah itself, which comes to the next statement. The lulav. Okay, we mentioned before that the etrog is compared to the lev. The shape of the etrog is the shape of the lev. But you know what else is considered the heart? The lulav. Lulav, lo, lev. The last 2 letters of the word lulav are lev. I'm putting together the word lulav, lamed vav, lamed bed, gematria haim, life. You like it? I discovered this in the hospital yesterday, Friday. Unbelievable, of course. And it says, not only that, it says the following. Lulav, it's a combination of the written Torah and the oral Torah. For example, how does the Torah begins? First word of the Torah, Bereshit, Bet. How does the Torah finishes? Israel, Lamed. Bet, Let, Lamed, Bet. The Bet, Lamed of the Lulav, Lamed, Bet. Then, Gemarot. How many volumes of Gemara are there? How many tractates, not volumes? If you go to a bookstore and you buy a Shas, 20 volumes. But how many Gemarot are there? 36. Lu, Lamed Vav is 36. Connected to the 36 Tzaddikim of each generation. So it says, Lulav, we are holding together all of the entire Torah, the written Torah and the oral Torah. We can go even further if you're ready for it. You did not hear me for the past 3 days. So understand that there is a lot of goodies that are going to start coming out. And I apologize in advance if I go into overtime, because I wasn't able to talk to many people there. I did speak to a lot of people, by the way. Rabbi, give me a blessing. Rabbi, give me a blessing. So, Bene Ham, they asked me for a blessing. You know what Bene Ham means, right? They asked me for a blessing. Yes. So give me a blessing, Rabbi. They were making a line for free, by the way. More or less. They say, oh, give me a blessing. Can you come to that room? Can you come to that room? That's what I did yesterday afternoon. I was walking around to report back, to tell the family, despite the fact that my father-in-law's condition is challenging, I just took a tour in the other ICU units, and believe me, that there are people that are in a much more challenging with intubation and sleeping, not able to communicate, and Baruch Hashem, he is able to. So I did that in order for the family to understand there is light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes you hear how they talk, the conflicting reports between doctors and nurses and comments and the social worker. Maybe you should consider hospice. Maybe take him home, have him peaceful end. Don't ask. So I told one African American couple, I look at them and I said to them, I believe that you need to start counting your blessings. What I'm going to tell them? Do tefillah with the minyan 3 times a day. I said, you can look at the cup 2 ways. Half empty or half full. And the wife says to the husband, you see, I tell you this all the time, and you told me you live in La La Land. I said to him, I said, your wife is right. He wasn't happy when I said that to him. He said, but she's right. He said, if you look at things in a positive way, you build yourself up. Didn't the Pasuk says, Haboteach ba'Hashem chesed yesovevenu? You have to have trust. If you're going to drown in a cup of water, it doesn't take much effort. That's it. That was one of the things. Then he found a Jewish couple. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach. You have the lulav? Yes. Can we shake it today? Said it's Shabbat. But at least they ask. At least they ask. You know, you don't know what you're going to find there. But believe me, as the Baal Shem Tov says, many times a person comes to a place and the person even doesn't know why you're there, what mission you have to complete. So I hope that I did it. So let's go back. So it says the Eliyahu Rabbah that the lulav is a combination of both aspects of the Torah. The written Torah, Lamed Bet, Lev, and the oral Torah, the Talmud, Lamed Vav. So when I have the lulav in my hand, I'm holding Torah shevichtav, Torah sheve'al peh. But it goes even further. I think this is attributed to the Shalah HaKadosh. The Shalah HaKadosh, that it says that the etrog, the word etrog by itself, is 610. Aleph, Tav, Resh, Vav, Gimal, 610. Plus lulav, plus hadas, plus arava, 3 more mitzvot, 613. So when we're holding the 4 species together, we are holding all the 600 mitzvot of the Torah together. It goes further. Not only that. It says as follows. The Maharil writes what I just said a few moments ago. Lulav gematria haim. We say in the Amidah, Bechol haim yoducha sela. So it says, a person goes the extra mile and buy something called mehudar. What's the meaning of mehudar? The etrog is called peri etz hadar, a beautiful fruit tree. So it says, שקונה אתרוג עם לולג יפה, זוכה לחיי העולם הזה בעולם הבא. It says, the investing extra to buy a beautiful, you don't have to mortgage your home, but don't be stingy when it comes to the mitzvah. Go the extra mile. A few extra dollars gets you an enhanced level. Obviously, as long as it's kasher, it is kasher. But we can never forget the fact that there is something called zekeli ve'anvehu. There is a concept of a person making the mitzvot behidur. In other words, there are many ways of doing the mitzvot. You can do the mitzvah just to get by, or you can do the mitzvah in an enhanced manner. Guess what? The Arba'at Minim, it's a mitzvah. There is an opportunity to do them in an enhanced way. Now, it goes further, and it says the following. מסוגלת מצווה זו להשתיק כל המקטרגים. There is a lot of times that in the pre-Sukkot classes that we discuss this idea, and also during Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, we spoke a topic which is not pleasant, but it's called the mekatreg. In English, there is a word for this type of angel. It's called the accusing angel, the prosecuting angel, the tally-tailor. In school, don't you have a tally-tailor sometimes? Right? How do you call it? Okay, how do you call it in school? Okay, Hazako Baruch. Okay, so I see that school system didn't change much. Okay, relax. Okay, so there is a malach in Shamaim that's exactly his specialty. His specialty is complain about the person. Did you see what he did yesterday? Did you see what she said? Did you see what he hear? That always finds a hedge to complain against the person. So it says the Midrash Rabbah, that the lulav, it's like telling them, stay quiet. You come in ready. You come in with a bayonet. A lulav is like a bayonet, like a spear, right? So it says, where do we learn such a thing? So he brings a pasuk from Divrei Hayamim that says, אז ירננו עצי היער, מלפני השם כי בא לשפוט את הארץ. The trees of the forest will sing to Hashem when he comes to judge humanity. So when is the true judgment day? Kippur. Right? So it says, after Kippur is over, now we are happy. And how do we celebrate our happiness the way the Rambam writes in the Laws of Lulav? With the Arba'at Minim. Now we have nothing better to do. Kippur is finished, Selichot is finished, to run and to buy the willow, the myrtle, the palm branch, and the citrus, the Arba'at Minim. We have nothing better to do. But interesting enough that these 4 items, it says, they become our advocate. Each one. The Arava through the lips, the Hadassim through the eye, the Arava through the Mehillah, the Lulav through our spinal cord, and the Etrog through the heart of the person. And that's why it says, we take them, and anytime there are accusations against us, the waving of the Lulav mitigates the judgment. There is no coincidence that we are following the news from Israel. And we know that during the holiday, during Yom Tov, there was something, they got rid of someone, right? I don't remember the guy's name, but somebody problematic. Okay? Alava Gehinam. Okay, you don't say Alava Shalom, you say Alava Gehinam. Okay? Of course. So, I'm thinking that based on what we are learning now, You think that was expected to such a thing to happen in Sukkot? Unexpected. You know how long Israel was after this fellow? According to what I heard last night, he was the one behind the October 7 unfortunate events in Israel. You think that there is no coincidence that Dafka in the celebration of Sukkot, the Zechuyot of the Sukkah and Am Israel and the Arba'at Aminim guided our soldiers to find them, surrounded by children. Ah, okay, Baruch Hashem. Nesach Yehuda, nice. Baruch Hashem. Zohar Kadosh writes and it says, listen to the words of the Zohar, Tikkun Zohar 29. Mana de Karba. The Arba'at Aminim are weapons. Maybe the army calls them a drone, artillery, a tank. The Zohar Kadosh says, Mana de Karba. The weapons for the battlefield. Kelizain. Weapons which are visible. In other words, you walk around the street. Look at the boys walking outside of the sukkah. Boys, stay here for a moment. What do you see? Hazaku Baruch. You can keep walking. You see right away they are carrying their Ba'at Aminim. Nobody's putting the etrog in their pocket. Nobody's putting the lulav in their jacket, under the arm. Nothing. You're carrying. So you know what it says, the Zohar Kadosh? Didan Nosach. Didan Nosach. Our victory. So the Zohar Kadosh explains as follows. Now we walk around with a tremendous amount of pride on the street. We are going to the synagogue, we take the lulav, we take the etrog, we go to the sukkah, we act like we are on top of the world. Are we ready for battle? Look at them, all carrying the lulavim and etrogim in the hands. Nobody touches us with that. Goes further and it says that the person often goes through life, and it brings here a very interesting statement from the Jose of Lublin, quoting the Magid of Mezrich, which was the successor of the Baal Shem Tov after the passing of the Baal Shem Tov, and it says the following: Ki Hashem Elokecha Eshochela Hu. It says, God is a fire that consumes. So there are ways of explaining this pasuk. One of the explanations is that there is a fire of kedusha, of holiness, that permeates the heart of the Yehudi. In other words, we come to pray, we come to learn, we do the mitzvot, we do ma'asim, we do chesed, we do a lot of the goodies that we do. Okay? Now, where does that engine it's coming from? It says this is the fire of kedusha that enters the heart of the person, and it says that this heart builds up enough energy to wage a war, not against terrorism, but against the Yetzer Hara. And it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu watches with happiness how we go to war, and we are able, and when I say we go to war at this moment, I don't mean a physical war to the battlefield, but each person, it says, goes through their own war, their own challenges, their own situation. And it says every time we come out victorious and successful, it's a great zechut. And that's why the Beit Aharon says, Zacharti lach chesed ne'uraich, ahavat kerulotaich, lechtech acharei bamidbar, be'eretz lo zeruah. It says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a great affinity to the Jewish people. One of the things that I said in the hospital, somebody asked me a question about a Jewish person asked me a question about Sukkot. So I explained that miracles of the manna, of the, yeah, everybody knows the manna, the water, and the clouds. So I asked the person, if these are the three miracles that we experience in the desert, why do we only celebrate the celebration of Sukkot? Why don't you celebrate celebration of the water, celebration of the manna? So the short answer is that the three of them were miracles. Aharon, the clouds, Miriam, the water, Moshe, the manna. But there was one thing that happened with the water and the manna. That means that people complained about the water and about the manna. Nobody complained about the anane kavod. So from here the Torah is teaching us that when there is peace and harmony, there is protection and salvation. So in a way, the Sukkah and the Arba'at Minim and the Ushpizin, I didn't even talk about the Ushpizin yet. And we are already on the fourth day. So today is Ushpizin of Moshe Rabbenu. So what is Moshe Rabbenu message of the Ushpizin? Moshe Rabbenu represents a word called Netzach. Netzach has two meanings, victory and eternity. Meaning to say that the essence of Moshe, ki lo tishakach mipi zer'o, meaning to say the Torah remains forever. People come and go, governments come and go, kingdoms come and go, but the Torah remains. Like Moshe Rabbenu, that's what we say, Torah, Sivalanu, Moshe, Morasha, Kehilat Yaakov. But in order for us to keep the Torah alive and well, we need to activate the second explanation of the word Nesach, which is victory. What's the meaning of victory? Overcoming the challenge of not doing the extra step. In other words, when a person overcomes their own nisyonot, and believe me, we all have them. Each person accordingly. If you are a child, your nisayon is as a child. If you're an adult, your nisayon is as an adult. If you're male, if you are female, the nisyonot are like custom-made scenarios. But the more we are victorious in front of the spiritual challenge, the more power we are giving to the essence of Moshe Rabbenu. So guess what? In a way, each and every one of us, without exception, is a miniature Moshe Rabbenu. Because if we will not have this DNA, let's call it, of Moshe Rabbenu, we will not be here today. We will be on the streets. We will be hanging around, surrounded by who knows what. But what do? We come to the Sukkah. It's cloudy. Guess what? Let it be cloudy. You think that a cloud will frighten me of eating in the Sukkah? Obviously, if it's raining and it reaches a level that the food is no longer edible, that's a different story. Okay, but if it's cloudy, it's like the Ben Ish Chai brings a mashal. Why don't you come to the synagogue? Why don't you come to the Torah class? No, because I'm afraid that a lion is going to escape the zoo and is going to come and meet me as I'm walking to the synagogue. That's one of the mashalot. And why don't you do this? No, because I'm afraid may come a hurricane and may topple the sukkah. But there's no hurricane. No, but according to the Hachamim of the Hurricane National Center, it could be a tropical storm forming in Congo. You understand? But when we say, you know what? Sukkot is Mehila, Kippur is over, we build the sukkah, Yom Tov comes, we take one meal at a time, we are activating the DNA of Moshe Rabbenu. Now, what's my battery level of the DNA of Moshe Rabbenu? That's something customized. It's up to the person. Up to the person. Like you have a different DNA and you have a different social security number, and everything in our life is different, even though we share a lot of common matters and a lot of similarities. But when it comes to our DNA of Moshe Rabbenu, it's up to our investment. Nobody can do it for me. Sure, if I'm not taught, if I'm not shown an example, how can I learn? But at the end of the day, even though your parents educate us, our parents educate us, and our teachers educate us, and our community sets a good example, the bottom line is, what are we doing? And that's the DNA of Moshe Rabbenu, of the Ushpizin number 4. Today's the 4th grade, right? I'm a bit, I lost 1, 2, and 3, so I'm trying to catch up. Of course I didn't lose. But of course I gained 3 times. But I'm trying to remember, because I couldn't say the Ushpizin. We're not going to wait Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov to the hospital. They were with me, by the way, because I did say the prayer. That's it. Doesn't it say that if a person doesn't know where Mizrach is, you should still pray and let Shemaim Mendel? So I said the same thing. I said, you know what? I'm going to read what says in the book. You handle it. I deliver it. It's like there was a fellow who asked the rabbi, Rabbi, I need help with naming my boy, my son. And the rabbi was going to the airport, and the rabbi said, I don't know, Moshe, Ishak, Reuben, Issachar, Zebulun, Daniel, Mordechai, Yehuda. Okay, comes to the Pidyon Ben 30 days later, and they made the Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotero Berechet Ayelet, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, Idu, Shlomo. So the rabbi said, the child has 7 names. Yeah, Rabbi, you told me. I told you 1 name, not 7. The rabbi said, don't change. If the emunah peshuta of a Yehudi leads them to do that, it's not against the halacha. It's like the fellow, this happened in the time of the Baal Shem Tov. There was a fellow who didn't know what a Siddur meant. He figured Siddur, you have to read from page 1 to page 211. So he read every day, Shaharit, Mincha, Arbit, Shabbat, Mosai Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh. He saw that people, 1 minyan, 2 minyanim, 3 minyanim, and he's still holding in the middle of the Siddur. So he went to the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov says, no, the Siddur has parts. Shaharit the morning, Mincha in the afternoon, Arbit in the evening. The fellow tries this for a few days. And he said, wow, I feel like a normal person. I left together with the minyan. I finished with the minyan. One day, the Baal Shem Tov put pieces of paper like I have in the book, pieces of paper. One day, the fellow wasn't able to go to shul. He opens the window and starts praying. Suddenly, a strong wind comes, and all the papers fly away. He started to cry. He doesn't know what to do. He suddenly sees that the Baal Shem Tov, it's leaving town. So what does he do? He jumps from the window, literally, and runs to where the Baal Shem Tov was. And the Baal Shem Tov says, you came running from your house? It says, I jumped from the window, and I saw where your horse and wagon was going, and he started to walk, and suddenly I'm here. But the Baal Shem Tov says, that should have taken you a few minutes. He says, I don't know, Rabbi. I just jumped, and I'm here next to you. The Baal Shem Tov says, keep praying the way you were praying. If God make you such a miracle, your prayers, no, but I want to do the right thing. So the Baal Shem Tov once again put it and wrote it in a piece of paper. Shaharit from page 1 to page 47. Mincha 49. And that's what the Baal Shem Tov says. Sometimes we don't understand. But the basic emunah of a Yehudi can move mountains. And that's what the midah of Moshe Rabbenu was. Moshe Rabbenu was victory. It's coming from behind, right? If anybody has, it's not from, from the building. Nice, nice. So I was, maybe this was the yes and activating an alarm. So I'm going to say it again. Only the last sentence. The Baal Shem Tov writes that no one truly understands what is the power of emunah. A person has emunah peshuta with temimut, with simplicity, with wholesomeness. So B'ezrat Hashem, let it be the zechut of the Arba'at Aminim, the Sukkot of the Mitzvah of the Sukkah, the Ushpizin. Because tonight is a mega, mega day. Tonight is the reason why we're in the Sukkah, the Ushpizin of Aharon HaKohen. So B'ezrat Hashem, to be continued. I'm happy to be back. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנניה בן הקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך, הרבה להם תורה מצוות